time once again to put the spotlight on some crazy exploitation flicks from the Great White North, proving that Canada's film industry was catering to stoners way before pot was legalized. My first Canuxsploitation-A-Thon began with a movie about a giant bug, the second one kicked off with a movie about giant rats, so now I'm going to start this one with a movie about a giant snake. Spasms is a 1983 horror movie directed by William Pruitt, who also made Blue Monkey. So there's another connection to my previous Canuxsploitation-A-Thons. Believe it or not, killer snake movies were actually kinda popular in the early 80s, with movies like Venom, Jaws of Satan, and Copperhead. So I guess this movie was just trying to cash in on a trend of snakesploitation. Based off the novel Death Bite, Spasms had a troubled production history, being filmed in 1981 but not getting a release until 1983. And even after it did get released, it almost immediately faded into obscurity despite being featured on the cover of an issue of Fangoria. That could be because most of the movie's marketing tried to hide the fact that it's about a killer snake and instead made it seem like a Scanners knockoff. Even the Fangoria cover looks like it's about a guy who just got stung by a bunch of giant bees. With a gory cover like that, we can rest assured that this movie is going to be disturbing. All the terror of a relaxing walk on the beach. Anyway, we begin on a small uncharted island somewhere off the coast of Toronto. I'm getting some heavy cannibal holocaust vibes from this intro. Hopefully they didn't kill any giant monster snakes for real in this movie. Whatever ritual these natives are doing must be important since they put on their sacred internet meme face masks for it.
So stupid, these natives. 2 days of dancing and nothing come?
Look, you're basically at a tribal EDM festival. Just let them get high and have fun. These two are poachers that have journeyed to the jungles of deepest, darkest Ontario to observe a tribal ritual intended to summon a giant snake the tribe worships as a devil. Unfortunately, someone lit the Burning Man statue before it was finished and ruined the ceremony. Oh well, it still seems to have worked. Either that or they really pissed off the cameraman. Making a giant snake movie but don't have a ton of money? Just tint the film blue and don't show it. Seriously, even when they drop a net on it, you still can't see it. It must have really good camouflage. Not showing the monster is a technique usually used to build suspense. In this case, though, I think it has something to do with those production troubles I mentioned earlier. The poachers were ordered to capture the snake by a rich businessman named Jason Kincaid, played by Oliver Reed, or as I like to call him, me if I traveled back in time to become an actor in England. It's nice to know Oliver Reed's there to be a roadmap of what I'll look like if my drinking ever gets the better of me. So, me in 10 years, pretty much. Speaking of which, looks like Oliver's in the middle of one of his alcohol-induced night sweats.
It's a man named Mendez in Port Moresby. He says it's imperative. I think he's been drinking, Jason.
Well, that's one thing they have in common. This call better be important.
Where is it now?
I don't think you know very much about this animal, Mr. Kincaid, because if you did, you wouldn't want me to send it to the States.
You're not sending it to the States, you're sending it to Canada, you idiot! Didn't you see the name of the marathon? Here's another way to convince people this movie isn't Canadian. Just put Captain America in it. No, not that Captain America. This Captain America. Peter Fonda plays Professor Thomas Brazilian, so named because his family's from Argentina. Tom's a psychologist who's also studying ESP, so I guess he went to the Peter Venkman School of Expertise. I, however, like to imagine that he teaches at the same school as Dennis Hopper from My Science Project. And before anyone asks, sure, I might do my science project one of these days. Oh, wait a minute, this must take place in America. Look, you can see the Seattle Space Needle in the background. Tom goes to visit Kincaid, and even though it's 9 a.m., it's still not too early to start drinking. Kincaid explains that while on a hunting trip, a snake bit him and also killed his brother, and now he wants to capture it and bring it back for study. You know, you'd think Oliver Reed would know by now to stay away from killer snakes. He was in Venom. Oh, and he also says that ever since he was bitten, he's had a telepathic link with the snake because... it's a movie, I guess? Alright, they do give an explanation for that. Sort of.
But if I'm correct, the brain proteins involved in telepathy are produced by virus. Well, there's clearly no reason why the snake couldn't be carrying that virus and have transmitted it to you when you were attacked.
Well, sounds logical to me. I also have a theory that pink eye can give you heat vision. Well, this worked out great. Not only does Kincaid agree to bankroll Tom's ESP research, but now he has another drinking buddy, too. No, seriously, both Peter Fonda and Oliver Reed were notorious for going out to bars and getting shit-faced while filming this movie. Peter Fonda even cut his forehead in a bar fight and allegedly had to wear a flesh-colored band-aid to finish the movie. I tried to find a couple shots where you could see it, but they hid it pretty well. Unfortunately for Kincaid, he's not the only one interested in the snake.
All you want is I should watch it.
And you could help me get it out of the dock stateside, that's all. I'll double this when I see you stateside.
Wow, you mean you'll give me $2 whole? That's assuming, of course, the snake even makes it there. Great, not only is the snake venomous, it also kills people through stupidity. Damn, looks like everyone in this movie's interested in snakes.
To worship the Lord in the way of the Lord, to triumph with the Lord over transgression.
Fun fact, at church services in Canada, instead of communion wine, they make you drink snake venom. So yeah, there's now a subplot about a reverend in a snake worshipping cult who also wants the snake so they can worship it or sacrifice it? I don't know, whatever they want it for, the lighting here says it's probably evil.
The serpent of Narakapintu guards the gates of hell, the living creation, the incarnation of our master.
You know, instead of a giant killer snake, couldn't you just scam people with magic water or something? Meanwhile, the snake's being transported to Americanada, and even though this isn't a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, it's still probably not a good idea to go wandering around a boiler room. Okay, that's a new one. Instead of a fake-out cat scare, we got a fake-out steam scare. Here's the thing about fake-out scares, though. They're usually followed by real ones.
It's against the law, trafficking animals, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, I'm taking my China White heroin and telling the cops about this. Speaking of heroin, looks like somebody's going through some bad withdrawal. Well, at least now he shouldn't have any trouble finding a vein. Oh, never mind, he's dead. That guy's not the only one having a rough time. One of Kincaid's speeches gets interrupted when he gets a bad case of the whiskey shits.
I've got to get out of here, sis. I've got to get out of here.
Wait, is that what's happening?
Because I feel it here! I feel it down inside within me! I feel it!
Shit, I think it is. Alright, time to have a little nightcap before I hook up my Jack Daniels IV for the night. First though, some vacation slides. Yes, that was the time my brother was killed by a giant snake and then his stunt double slipped on a banana peel. Haha, memories. Oh, and if you're wondering just who this is, it's Kincaid's niece, Suzanne.
When Father died, you took me in. I didn't ask to come live with you. You brought me here.
You know you're 30. You could probably just get your own place now. At first, I thought Suzanne was supposed to be Kincaid's girlfriend, and I think Oliver Reed also thinks that.
Kiss me goodnight. Kiss me. Properly.
Uncle Oliver gets creepy when he drinks. Anyway, Tom goes to pick up the snake, which has arrived at U.S. Customs, because fuck you, that's totally where we are now.
Oh, what sort of animal is it? Scutulatus cani, large, poisonous snake.
Okay, but I'm gonna have to check the snake's butt for weed first. We can't have anything dangerous coming into this country. The snake is taken to the local university. Listen, fellas, just put it next to the rage monkeys. I'm sure it'll be fine. Jeez, not only is the snake dangerous to humans, it also just poisoned the film quality. We just shifted to VHS vision. You'd think housing a highly dangerous snake would warrant some extra security, but these two managed to break in surprisingly easy. And why does everyone immediately try to open the snake's container? Well, what did you think was gonna happen? At least now we managed to get a couple glimpses of the snake to go along with the POV shots, although the editing here is a little choppy. I swear I didn't do anything to that footage. I think the editor just had a spasm. Well, that's enough snake killing for now. Peter Fonda's got to put the moves on Suzanne.
I lived in 6 countries before I was 16.
Did they also try to pretend they were the US? Unfortunately for Tom, he gets cock-blocked when he has to go investigate the snake. Well, these people may be dead, but at least the video quality seems to have made a full recovery.
Look what it did back there.
I saw what it did back there. Those wounds weren't made by any snake.
Are you positive? 'Cause it sure looked like a snake to me. Okay, still no cat scare, but we did get a makeout scare. Which I guess would make it a make-out fake-out. Now let's see, if I was a snake, where would I be? Of course, the university marijuana grow up. And in case you were thinking we haven't had enough fake-out scares yet... We also have cactus scares. And parrot scares. Still no cat yet.
We better look someplace else.
Oh shit, I was so concerned with looking for the snake I didn't think about what I'd do when I found it. Run!
What is that thing, huh? You tell me right now, what the hell is that thing?
It was a snake, didn't you see it? Maybe he didn't. Like I said, the editing's kind of wonky. One thing's for sure, the shadowy Reverend Satanist, whatever the fuck this guy's supposed to be, is not gonna be pleased.
It will go very badly for you, Mr. Crowley, if you don't fulfill your commitment. I'll pray you're successful. Perhaps you should pray too.
Also what the producer said to William Fruit on the first day of filming. Alright, Kincaid, you got a lot of explaining to do, mainly because this movie doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
It comes from an island in Micronesia called Naracapinto. In the native tongue, it means gates of hell. Every 7 years, the island is visited by a great serpent. A serpent that rises from hell to claim the souls and take them back.
You know, I can make all the snarky alcoholic jokes I want, but when it comes right down to it, Oliver Reed gives this movie a lot more dignity than it probably deserves. Alright, listen, Oliver, I know you were actually in the Brood, but right now we're gonna need you to pretend you were in the Dead Zone and give us some snake visions. Even though this is an 80s horror movie, we surprisingly haven't had any nudity yet, and hey, there we go. Now's the part where the movie goes into straight-up slasher territory. The snake even provides the killer POV shots. Seriously, does this thing just constantly move around on its snake tippy toes? Why is the camera so high? Great, not only is the snake breaking and entering, it also tries to kill Pat Benatar she's trying to freshen up before a show. Well, that's what this girl gets for having a Texas Chainsaw Massacre poster in her house. Alright, as choppy as the editing in this part is, I kinda like that the movie's just saying fuck it and straight up becoming a snake slasher movie, even if things do get a little ridiculous. Hey, occupied, asshole! Well, it's not Christmas or Valentine's Day, so the killer can't be Billy or Axel. My money's on the Terror Train guy.
Mr. Kincaid, Doctor has been telling me you're talking to this thing.
I'm part of it in some way. I see through its eyes. I really believe that I belong to it.
And that's the only explanation you're going to be getting, so hopefully that's good enough for you.
Yeah, right. Whatever.
Even the cop doesn't buy this plot device.
So, where's it now?
Well, by the looks of it, it's somewhere in the opening scene of Evil Dead. Well, at least now it seems to be moving at regular snake height. Hey, you're wearing a bikini in an 80s movie. You'll make a good next victim.
Gotcha!
No, never mind. There's just another fake-out scare in the woods. Still waiting for that damn cat.
Bet you thought I was a big snake, eh?
Oh, Brian, I know your snake's average at best. Before they can find out where the snake's gone to, Oliver Reed needs to pose for some of the movie's poster shots. You know, it kind of makes sense that this was marketed as a Scanners knockoff. Oliver Reed spends most of the movie looking like he's about to explode out of his own skin. And if you were wondering if they were ever going to tell us why Kincaid has a psychic link with the snake.
Maybe it's venom production. Maybe it's viral replication. Maybe it's a mind thing, and Jason's allowing his guilt to make it work. I don't know. It could be a million things. It's so weird.
You know, it's rare that a movie flat out tells its audience, look, we don't have an explanation for this either. Just go with it. Meanwhile, I see Crowley's also busy trying to find the snake. Before he can look for it, though, he's got to drain his.
Hey, Kincaid! And Reverend Thanner is pissing on the both of you.
I'm sure he'll definitely live till the end of the movie. Alright, now we come to the premiere effects sequence of the movie where Crowley's bitten multiple times by the snake. Hopefully it's good enough to justify that Fangoria cover. It looks like he's slowly turning into Robert Zadar. Alright, all kidding aside, this is one of the more memorable parts of the movie. This sequence was done by makeup legend Dick Smith, who also did the effects in a ton of other movies like The Exorcist, Altered States, and Scanners, oddly enough. While this isn't among his best work, I can see why Fangoria deemed it worthy of a cover. Too bad we never actually get to see Crowley explode. Oh well, they're still gonna market this like a Scanners knockoff anyway. Well, that does it. Time for Oliver Reed to hop in his sports car and prove to people that he could have played James Bond and Pamela Voorhees. First, though, he's got to find that damn snake. Okay, instead of a snake, there's just a bunch of faulty wiring scares in there. I'm guessing Kincaid doesn't own a cat either. I don't know what he's expecting to find in this house. It just seems to be full of flashbacks to earlier parts of the movie. Alright, I guess they had to pad the runtime to get this thing to 90 minutes somehow. Actually, I joke, but that is pretty much what happened here. Shortly after filming began, one of the production companies bankrolling the movie went under, and the resulting money problems meant that the mechanical snake used in the film wasn't available until the last week of filming, which probably explains why this climax mainly consists of Oliver Reed wandering around in the dark and occasionally getting interrupted by clips of the movie we've already seen. You know, I like to think that running around his mansion sweating and shooting at nothing is just how Oliver Reed spent his evenings anyway. At this point, I think even the snake gets tired of how darkly lit everything is and tries to make sure you can actually see it. Speaking of which, let's finally get a good look at that thing. Looks alright, I guess. You know, even if the snake bites Oliver Reed again, it's not gonna affect him. His blood is like 90% alcohol already. I mentioned that the snake puppet wasn't available until the last week of shooting, which probably explains why this final battle ends so abruptly. Seriously, 1 second he's wrestling with the snake, and then all of a sudden he's walking away from it. Oh boy, looks like Oliver Reed's passed out for the night. Okay, we'll finish shooting tomorrow when he wakes up. With Kincaid dead, how are they gonna get rid of this damn snake? Oh. Okay, I guess they just could have shot it this whole time. And that's as much of an ending as you're gonna get, cause like I said, the movie just ran out of money. Guess that whole evil reverend subplot isn't getting resolved. Despite getting a decent amount of pre-release coverage, Spasms only got a very limited theatrical release before being dumped on VHS, where it mostly languished in obscurity, not even getting a DVD release until 2016. A lot of people involved with the movie were unhappy with it too, with Peter Fonda even saying that this was the worst movie he ever appeared in. Although according to IMDb, that honor actually belongs to Jesse James Lawman. The thing is though, as far as Killer Snake movies go, this isn't the worst one. The biggest problem with the movie is that it feels unfinished, with things like Kincaid's psychic connection to the snake and the evil reverend subplot not really being fleshed out or explained well. And like I said, instead of ending, it just kinda stops. But I do appreciate that it tried to be a little more ambitious with the effects and gore than most of the other Killer Snake movies from the time. And even if he was drunk off his ass making it, Oliver Reed at least seems to be trying here. If the movie had been finished as intended, Spasms might have been able to build up a cult following, but taken as is, yeah, it is kind of a mess. I will say this about it though, it's still a hell of a lot better than Things. Well, that's all for now, but the Canuxsploitation-A-Thon is just getting started, and coming up, I'll even be reviewing some movies that actually got finished. Until next time. One part of Canadian exploitation cinema I'm surprised I haven't covered more is slasher movies, because it's a genre that Canada's actually made a pretty big contribution to. Not only did Canada make one of the first and best slasher flicks with the original Black Christmas, but in the 80s there was also stuff like Prom Night, My Bloody Valentine, and Terror Train. Perhaps because there was so many of them, here's a Canadian slasher flick that tends to get overlooked. Released in 1981, Happy Birthday to Me was directed by J. Lee Thompson, a filmmaker known for old-school Hollywood movies like The Guns of Navarone and Cape Fear. But if you think that means this is going to be a classy, subdued slasher movie, think again. Not only did it have a poster that looks like it's for a parody of 80s slasher movies, but it also had this memorable tagline: 6 of the most bizarre murders you will ever see. Okay, but it's gonna be pretty hard for this to top the death by giant praying mantis from Dracula 3D. So is this gonna have a memorable theme song like Halloween? Hey, that's not how Happy Birthday goes! This movie may not exactly be a Nightmare on Elm Street, but it does have a guy named Craven in it, and it makes sure to grab our attention right away with a scare. Oh shit, it's adorable. Don't worry though, it's just the teacher's pet. The dog, I mean, not the girl.
Do you know, Bernadette, if you and the other so-called members of the top 10 would spend half the time on your books that you do down at that inn, you could all be in Harvard tomorrow.
Well, it's Canada, so she'll probably have to settle for McGill. Boy, I'll bet all the students love this teacher.
Come along, Winston. Take Mommy home.
Come along, Winston. Give Mommy head.
Oh, I see somebody figured out why Miss Patterson buys so much peanut butter. Anyway, time to get to one of those bizarre murders the poster told us about. Okay, that seemed pretty normal to me. Unless he's gonna do something weird with the body afterwards. Hey, wait a second. The killer's supposed to fake being dead and then come back to life at the end of the movie. Don't you know how these things work? Not that it does her any good, she just runs right into the killer again. Okay, the effect on that kill was pretty good. Still wouldn't say it's one of the most bizarre I've ever seen, though. Meanwhile, the rest of the top 10 students are meeting for drinks at the, Headless Lady Tavern? The fuck?
53 bottles of beer. 51 bottles of beer. 51 bottles of beer.
Please, no more!
Damn Shriners, always ruining young people's fun. Now's usually the part where I say the actors are too old to play high schoolers, but Melissa Sue Anderson really was a teenager when she made this, so guess I can't do that this time. This is a meeting of the top 10 who were the most popular students at a rich private school. And if you're wondering why they're so popular...
You bring George? Sure, I brought George. Say hi to George, everybody.
Ooh, I bet the guy with the rat gets all the puss thrown at him in school. Having a rat does come in handy, though. It means the top 10 kids get to play a prank on the Shriners and be cruel to animals at the same time. That'll teach you to have a good time at the same bar as us, assholes. And if you're gonna drive home after a night of drinking, might as well also make a game of it. Last one over the bridge is probably getting a cross on the side of the road.
No, Frank, no! Not the car!
I don't even think this movie needs a killer. I think the characters are just gonna kill themselves.
Stop it, you'll kill yourself!
See? Told you.
Virginia! Come back!
What's wrong with Virginia?
I don't know, she just freaked right out.
Jeez, you almost kill somebody in a car accident and they get all uptight about it. Ginny's been a little upset ever since her mom died a few years earlier, although I don't think burying her in the cemetery from the Thriller video was a great idea.
You'd be proud of me now, Mother. All the kids like me. I'm even one of the top 10. We go everywhere together.
That's great, sweetie, but if you really want to honor my memory, you should try becoming Batman. Uh-oh, looks like this cemetery's also being visited by a Giallo movie.
Who's out there?
Relax, it's probably just another fake-out scare.
You.
I'll walk you home.
On second thought, maybe it's a real one. As if this guy wasn't bad enough, Ginny's dad is Dr. Keller from Scanners. Who's her uncle, Michael Ironside? Ginny also has some problems involving repressed memories, but her dad just tells her to forget about him and push her emotions down. What's the worst that could happen there? By the way, bit of advice, if you don't want people to think this movie's Canadian, don't have wallpaper that looks like the Quebec flag. Even though Ginny has that sweet final girl next door vibe, she still might want to be careful. Yeah, if you think finding a spider in your bathtub is annoying, try a fake-out scare. I can see why Ginny wanted to attend a posh private school. The students there are so charming. Since you wouldn't let me walk you home, I decided to break in and steal some of your panties. Hope you don't mind. Because the characters go to a private school, it's a little different than in a typical slasher flick. They're also taught things you'd expect to see in an 80s teen comedy.
Yes, Mr. Van der Poel. Quite the comedian. But the really funny thing about static electricity is that it can be discharged.
Wow, they even teach movie effects at this school. Okay, students, today we're gonna learn about, I don't know, some weird Frankenstein-y shit. I know I already made a Scanners reference earlier, but this flashback Ginny's having makes me think she really was part of a Scanners program.
My birthday.
Jeez, I don't know that giving Ginny a lobotomy for a Sweet 16 was a great idea. Couldn't you just got her a car? It wouldn't be an 80s Canuxsploitation movie without a popular actor slumming for a paycheck, and in this case we have veteran actor Glenn Ford as Ginny's psychiatrist, Dr. Faraday. I don't know what Glenn Ford's death scene in this movie is going to be like, but it's going to be pretty hard to top this. Anyway, turns out Ginny was part of an experimental procedure to regrow damaged brain cells.
You were the first.
A guinea pig.
As a matter of fact, we called you our little Ginny pig. We like to have fun with our mad scientist experiments. What the hell? When did this go from an 80s slasher movie to an 80s dirt bike movie? I don't know what the climax to a sports movie is doing a third of the way through this one, but nice that their friend won, I guess. I know I joked about this guy stealing Ginny's panties earlier, but that's actually what he did. Rat Boy is not happy about this. He wanted to steal Ginny's underpants and ever think he's a creep. Let's see, jockish guy who's kind of an asshole to the other characters in the movie? I'll bet this guy lasts all the way to the end. Okay, that kill was a little more creative. I still think the poster might have oversold things, though. Even though we've already established Rat Boy as a red herring, might as well offer more clues that he's a creep.
God, this place is almost as weird as he is.
Wow, he owns a rat and he's into taxidermy? Man, this guy must just be drowning in vagina. And I'm not just saying that because I think he's building a woman suit.
What are you doing here? Maybe you were worried about Bernadette. Poor little Bernadette.
Look, we're only 38 minutes in, we know you're not the killer, so just drop the act, okay? Okay, so you're not the killer. You're still fucking weird. Ginny can't seem to catch a break. Even Miss Patterson's on her ass now.
I have to tell you that I do not for one moment believe that 2 of the top 10 could disappear without the rest of you being in on the joke.
If 2 students have mysteriously gone missing, shouldn't you call the cops? Miss Patterson gives Ginny detention, because sure, that'll make him turn back up. No need to call the police just yet, though. The killer's got more victims to get to. And because it's 1981, he's gonna do that by listening to this guy's body talk.
Hey, do me a favor, slap on 10 more, huh?
I can't see anything going wrong here. Now that he has a spotter, this guy should actually be safer. Oh, looks like I spoke too soon. Okay, I know I said this is no Nightmare on Elm Street, but I think Freddy Krueger might have been a fan of this movie.
No pain, no gain.
Well, another student's been murdered, but they're not gonna let that stop the big game from happening. This guy even wore his best Doctor Who cosplay for the occasion. One way you can tell this is a bougie private school, they're playing European football. Nice that they were able to fit another climax to a sports movie in here. No joke, the guy who made the winning goal's name is even Rudy. Ginny is so impressed with his victory that she even lets Rudy take her out on a date to a Hammer horror movie.
I will never forget you, my darling.
Give me a little kiss, Esmeralda.
So, are all the guys interested in Ginny trying not to get laid in this movie?
Virginia, I've got a knife.
We're only halfway through, so Rudy's probably not the killer, but I might give him date rapist. This is one 80s slasher movie where I think the red herring characters might also really be serial killers. Meanwhile, Ginny keeps having more flashbacks, and I think the traumatic event that she's repressing might be this brain surgery that she was apparently awake for. I'd want to forget that shit too.
Virginia, you've remembered the operation. It's coming back piece by piece.
Yeah, piece by piece, just like the parts of her brain they took out.
And then what happened?
I don't know. I panicked. I came here. God, I thought you'd help me.
Look, Glenn Ford's mainly here for the paycheck. Don't expect him to do very much. Fun fact, according to the film's producers, Glenn Ford was drinking heavily during filming and even got into a fistfight with an assistant director. So along with Spasms, something about the Canadian film industry in the 80s really made actors want to get hammered. At least somebody finally contacted the cops about the missing students. I disagree though, I think giving Ginny more detention will make him turn up. Oh, never mind, I think they found one.
I think you should have another look at this. Property of Crawford Academy Science Department.
I'm just fucking with you, it's a real human skull. You got a real psycho on the loose here. I know something that'll get your mind off your missing friends. Some good weed. Ginny seems to have forgiven Rudy for acting like a total weirdo earlier. Guess she must have a thing for guys that walk menacingly towards her with a knife. I think the weed might be making her a little paranoid, though.
Virginia?
She's fine. Thinking about all that water just made her have to pee really bad. Here's someone else the movie wants us to think is the killer, but it's probably just another guy after Ginny's underpants. Yep, I was right. Come on, movie, we already know this guy's a red herring. Why are you trying to fool us again? Huh? Jesus, I know Alfie was kinda weird, but that seemed a little extreme. Alright, I guess that's one way to make sure you'll be the final girl. Just kill all the other characters.
All right. I'll be in Calgary in approximately 4 hours.
Whoa, hey, don't mention Calgary or else people might think this movie's Canadian. Ginny's dad's gotta go out of town for a few days, but he promises to be back in time for her 18th birthday.
Happy birthday.
To me, come on, finish the title. There's only one thing that can cheer Ginny up now. Disco. Yeah, this movie may be from 1981, but it's always 1977 in Canada. Hang on, I think I know how to make this even more Canadian.
Everything is alright.
I don't know why Ginny seems so upset. All the boys at school seem to love her. She even goes home with Steve. I guess she must be into his pointy, pro-Jared with an afro good looks.
God, am I ripped?
Are you fucking right, Rip, bud? You know what they say, though, it's not truly a romantic evening until somebody gets poked. Hey, there's the kebab death. Although, considering it happened to Steve, just who the hell is this guy in the poster? Somebody named John, I guess. You know, I'm beginning to think Ginny might not be on the up and up.
Come on, it's time to get up. I want to hear all the gory details about you and Steve last night.
Last night? I don't remember anything.
You know how it is. You have a little too much to drink, you end up brutally murdering somebody. It's all a part of growing up. Meanwhile, Ginny has another flashback. Turns out her mom liked to play chicken on the drawbridge too. The only difference was she wasn't very good at it.
Go on now. Take a deep breath and swim to the surface.
Okay, looks like the big repressed memory Ginny's been having has something to do with her mom dying, but that's still no excuse for leaving the water running or murdering your friends. Holy shit, I think Marty might be the killer. Wait. Okay, listen, Ginny, we paid good money for Glenn Ford to appear in this movie, and he's contractually obligated to finish it whether he wants to or not. Maybe he can help you out.
All right, look at this. Look!
See, Ginny, you're not a killer, you're just crazy. And also possibly a killer. Here, Ginny, maybe a drink will help you relax. Or fight the assistant director, I don't know.
It's my birthday.
Alright, well just wait until Glenn Ford pours himself a drink, and then he'll get started on your birthday punches, okay? Even if Anne's body wasn't in the tub, she's still mysteriously gone missing, so Ginny must be really good at crime scene cleanup. Oh well, at least the movie kind of admits this is Canada, even if it is just in a newspaper article. And big surprise, all these flashbacks of Ginny's have something to do with her birthday. 4 years earlier, Ginny's mom threw her a birthday party, and that's the source of all her trauma.
Bernadette O'Hara, Etienne Vercourt, Steve Maxwell, Alfred Morris, Greg Hellman, and Ann Thomason. 6 of the richest. Nothing but the best for my little girl.
Rich kids have it so hard, don't they? Well, at least Ginny's mom made sure to provide plenty of booze for her party. Even though Melissa Sue Anderson was the right age to play an 18-year-old, I do think she's too old to pull off 14. After learning all the popular kids went to a party at Anne's house instead, Ginny's mom threw a shit fit when they couldn't get in and then decided to play Evel Knievel over the bridge and drowned. So, wait, Ginny's just mad that she wasn't popular in school and her mom was a lush? That doesn't seem like a very good reason to go on a killing spree. Look, Ginny, even if you weren't popular in school, that's no reason to kill people. Just watch a lot of weird movies and then make an internet series talking about them. Well, great. Now she just killed the most famous actor in this movie.
Ginny! I'm home!
I brought you an autographed photo of David Cronenberg. Jesus Christ, Ginny's periods are really starting to get out of hand. Oh, and she may or may not be a serial killer. Alright, well now we know that girl's gonna live to be in Deadly Eyes. Ginny's 14th birthday party may have been a bust, but she got some people to come to her 18th. She even got Mrs. Bates to come to her party.
Happy birthday to me.
Title drop. Well, look on the bright side, Hal. At least Ginny being a ruthless killer means you don't have to feel guilty about not getting her a present this year. Nope, never mind, he's dead. Okay, now that Ginny's killed everybody, does that mean the movie's over?
Oh,
What?
we can't have you looking all dirty. Not for your own birthday party.
The fuck? What is this, us now? Ginny's got an evil twin?
Now you all know just how crazy little Ginny really was.
Okay. So, not only is Anne really the killer, she's also the greatest makeup effects wizard the world's ever seen. Eat a dick, Rick Baker. Now, if it seems like the movie just pulled this twist out of its ass, that's 'cause it kinda did. Originally, Ginny was supposed to be the killer who was committing the murders after being possessed by her dead mother, but the producers insisted on a last-minute twist ending, which explains why Anne being the killer comes out of fucking nowhere. If you were thinking this is like a Sixth Sense type of twist where there's little clues throughout the movie when you watch it again, nope. So, turns out Ginny's dad had an affair with Anne's mom and they're really half-sisters, and she's mad because that led to her parents breaking up? I guess. Like I said, there's zero build-up to this. Even the characters randomly coming back as zombies at the end of Slaughter High makes more sense in this twist. So after a shocking and nonsensical twist like that, they're gonna need to follow it up with the most outrageous kill of the movie.
You never should have been born!
Oh. Okay, guess once they thought of the twist, they couldn't figure out a way to resolve it.
What have you done?
Officer, I can explain. I was originally supposed to have murdered all these people. While not as popular as some other slasher flicks from the time, Happy Birthday to Me still did pretty well at the box office, making over $10 million. Although the film's $3.5 million budget meant it wasn't as profitable as other slasher movies. $3.5 million? Friday the 13th only cost $550,000. Damn, Glenn Ford must have got a fat paycheck for this movie. Critics at the time hated it, although that was pretty much par for the course for 80s slasher flicks. And like many horror movies, it's managed to build up a fan following over time. And if this movie was as memorably weird as its poster, I'd say it deserves its cult following. But it falls a little short of that. The movie plays with the interesting idea of having the supposed final girl also ending up being the killer, only to toss that aside for a twist that feels like it was added at the last minute because, well, it was. Also, at an hour and 50 minutes, it's about 20 minutes longer than it should be. But the acting is good for this type of movie, and while they're not as outrageous as the marketing would have you believe, a few of the kills are pretty memorable for the time. As you'd expect from a veteran director like J. Lee Thompson, it is well made, even if it is a little sluggish at times. Basically, it's a mid-level slasher movie. It's no classic like Black Christmas, but it's a hell of a lot better than Girls' Night Out. But despite the out-of-nowhere ending, at least this movie was actually finished, which is a step up from the last movie I did. Well, it's all for now, but I still have more Canadian exploitation to get to, including a genre I've never done before, monster trucksploitation. Until next time.
Come along, Winston, give Mommy head.
It's no secret that a lot of exploitation movies try to cash in on popular trends, and Canadian exploitation flicks are no different. Whether it's slasher movies, Star Wars knockoffs, teen sex romps, hell, Canada's even got a few martial arts flicks under its belt. Well, in the 80s, monster trucks were pretty popular, so why not make a movie about that? Rolling Vengeance is a 1987 action revenge movie directed by Stephen H. Stern, who's mainly known for TV movies like Mazes and Monsters, Portrait of an Escort, and Murder in Space. Damn, every one of those sounds like something I could feature on this show. Even though Stern's experience was mainly in TV movies, there's no need to worry, since according to the reviews, this is not only the definitive monster truck movie, but also similar to Rocky and Death Wish. Okay, I'd say this is more like a combination of Over the Top and one of the canon Death Wish movies, but hey, that's just me. Because it's about a killer monster truck, this movie is gonna need to open with one badass theme song.
Seemingly endless tunes on my radio. Moving the dial in slow motion to voices I never will know.
That's pleasantly middle of the road, I guess. Jesus, even some of the people who worked on this movie sound like the names of monster trucks. Surprised this wasn't directed by somebody named Bigfoot. Like a lot of 80s Canuxsploitation flicks, this is supposed to be taking place in the US, and you can tell because they're drinking Budweiser and not Labatt's. And what the hell? Lawrence Dane again? Alright, good to know he survived getting his throat slashed in the last movie I did. I seriously didn't intend to do 2 movies with him in a row, although considering his filmography, I guess I should have expected this. Anyway, our main character is Little Joey Rosso, a young man who just wants to ride the open road like his old man, Big Joe.
I took a wrong turn last night and detoured about 100 miles out of my way before I got back on track. I got the pedal to the metal and I'm letting her roar.
Okay, bring it on home. Oh, buddy.
I tell you, that boy of mine will be peeing in bottles and popping uppers in no time. Joey's buddy Steve is also a trucker, and he welcomes Joey back home by challenging him to a race. I can't possibly see this leading to anything bad.
Look out!
It's funny because they could have killed somebody.
Asshole! Eat my shorts.
Fucking don't have a cow, bud. Joey's got to make a delivery, and while we're here, might as well show off what the monster truck's gonna crush later in the movie. Alright, don't screw this up, Joey. The craft services table needs replenishing. I would say that's coming out of Joey's paycheck, but I think some of that was gonna be his paycheck. Speaking of paychecks, Canadian exploitation movies usually have at least one famous actor looking for an easy one, so who is it gonna be this time?
Hey. Is this any way to do business?
Hey, Ned Beatty. Alright, looking forward to all the Deliverance jokes this is probably gonna lead to. Ned plays Tiny Doyle, the sleazy owner of a topless bar and used car dealership, and between the leather jacket and the Wolverine haircut, he also looks like he plays bass in a local rockabilly band. Some of the local townsfolk have a problem with people getting drunk at Tiny's bar, mainly because it's taking money away from the local moonshine economy.
You allow people to leave your establishment drunk.
Oh, they're not drunk. They're intoxicated with joy from the great times they have in this fine establishment.
Why, sometimes they're so overcome with joy they cry golden yellow tears from their peckers in the alley out back. I don't know why these women are so mad. Driving drunk seems to be the only thing to do around here. Oh, well that does it. Driving drunk is one thing, but nobody wastes alcohol and gets away with it in this town. Why do I get the feeling ending up as roadkill counts as dying of natural causes around here? Big Joe is very upset with Joey. If you're gonna run somebody off the road, he expects you to finish the job, damn it. Big Joe still has a present for his son, a brand new rig. However, Joey's excitement quickly turns to disappointment when he finds out it doesn't turn into Optimus Prime.
Thanks, Dad.
This is even better than when you bought me my first truck stop, whore. And having a brand new truck has some other benefits, too.
I was just at a meeting and I thought I'd stop by on my way home.
Great. I want to take you for a ride in my dad's new truck.
Yeah, nothing turns women on more than a guy with his own big rig. No, seriously, this really does seem to be working for him.
I love you.
You're even prettier than the girl on my mud flaps. Alright, I appreciate the romance subplot, but is there anything else going on?
Dad? When will I grow boobs?
Okay, I don't know why that was in there, but it's kind of funny, I guess. Joey's girlfriend Misty does have a bit of a problem with him making deliveries to Tiny's bar. Not sure why. It seems like a reputable establishment. Alright, come on, fellas. Finish your breakfast and get back to work, okay?
I want to talk to you.
Yeah, hang on, Pa. Just grabbing a beer.
Now.
Yeah, I can see why Ned Beatty took this role. In this movie, he's the one who makes people squeal like a pig. These are all Tiny's sons, and I'm guessing the vengeance part of the title is gonna come after these guys go all Mad Max on Joey's family.
Oh, come on. Kids, we won't hurt you.
Jeez, I'd say it's too bad there's no police around, but I think these guys are the police in this county. Oh, and about the Mad Max reference, turns out Joey's family's actually gonna be toe cutter. God damn it, Steve, can't you go one day without hitting somebody with your truck?
Eat my shorts.
Well, this is tragic. Not only have Joey's mom and sisters been killed, but they wouldn't even let him wear his denim jacket to their funeral. Oh well, at least he still has Misty.
Are you okay?
Well, most of my family was just killed, so I've been better, yeah. Meanwhile, in Canadian Roadhouse, I see Ned Beatty switched up his outfit. Now he looks like if Brian Setzer and Boss Hogg got mixed up in a teleporter. He's also not too happy with his sons.
You was drunk again.
No, I wasn't. I had a couple beers.
For the last time, a 40 ounce of malt liquor doesn't count as one beer. Luckily for Tiny, the legal blood alcohol limit in this town doesn't include a decimal point.
So you at no time prohibited Mrs. Rosso from passing?
No, sir.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Open and shut case. Clearly this man is innocent. No, seriously, all he gets is a fine.
That man killed my wife and kids. He might as well have blown them away with a shotgun. And you fine him $300? He ought to be strung up by his balls.
Okay, come on, Joe. You know the only forms of capital punishment in Canada are smoked meat torture and going outside in the winter without a jacket. With the courts having failed them, Joey and Big Joe have no choice but to take the law into their own hands. First they're gonna have a drink, and then they are gonna kick your ass at darts. Or you could just skip right to the bar brawl. That'll save some time. Damn, this really did just turn into Canadian Roadhouse. All it needs is Colin James playing some sweet blues in the background.
Hot dog.
Back off, scum.
Alright, well, you guys didn't really win, but you messed up Tiny's bar a little bit, so I guess that means you're even now. And by even, I mean Tiny's sons are still gonna try and get back at you. You know, even without the bar brawl, I think they would have spent their day doing that anyway. Damn, now Big Joe's been put in a coma, and Lawrence Dane still needs to be in several other movies I want to do on this show.
I'll get him.
Yeah, time for Joey to get revenge the only way he knows how. By building a Truckosaurus in his barn. Actually, I'm not sure what he's building in there, but please tell me that's not supposed to be its dick. First though, he's got to get some parts, which means we need to have a montage. Okay, now that he's done, let's see what Joey's been building in there. Alright, I gotta admit that's pretty badass. Yeah, Joey's built himself the ultimate monster truck and he's gonna get his revenge this Sunday. Let's see if the extended warranty covers this, you son of a bitch. The soundproofing in Tiny's bar must be amazing since no one hears any of this happening directly outside. And even if they do notice anything, they apparently don't give a shit. Well, now that I crushed Tiny's cars, I guess that's enough vengeance for one day. Now that I got the house to myself, maybe I'll invite my girl over.
I love you.
Yeah, that's nice and all, but can we get to more monster truck stuff? Ooh, hey, never mind. Looks like Joey gets Skinamax all the way out at this place. I wonder what song they're gonna put over this love scene. Alright, well, at least they picked something catchy. The law around here may not be good with people murder, but they always make sure to investigate used car murder. And, hey, Tiny, that's not how you spell Ontario.
Tiny? You slipped in the shower?
No. Tripped over my dick.
Tiny's an ironic name, is it? But seriously, even though Ned Beatty probably only did this movie for the paycheck, he is still kind of funny in it. I don't know why they bothered contacting the police. From what I can tell, they don't actually do anything around here. Tiny realizes this too and asks his boys to get back at Joey and Steve. And screw using cinder blocks this time, just shoot him. I mean, it's not like the cops are gonna do anything.
Oh, shit!
You know, you're in an 18-wheeler and they're in a van. You could just run them off the road. I mean, you do that with pretty much everyone else. Steve radios for help, and he's lucky he's friends with a vigilante trucker, because the courts would probably say there isn't enough evidence that Tiny's boys did anything wrong here.
What the fucking hell is that?
I don't know, but it looks like what Ted Nugent uses to pick up his kids from soccer practice. Now, it may seem like Joey just killed somebody, but in his defense, that guy could have easily avoided that. Attaboy, Joey. You've gone from crushing cars all the way to murder. Now you're really vengeancing. You know, I'm thinking the cops won't be able to write this one off as just a drunk driving accident.
There are two of Tiny Doyle's boys, Brian and David. Blood alcohol levels twice the legal limit.
Doesn't surprise me.
Or maybe they can.
Tyler kid said the phantom vehicle looked like something out of a bad dream.
Yeah, or a bad movie. Oh, I see Tiny's family's about to have their traditional Thanksgiving meal of KFC and Budweiser.
What'd you do that for? Wait for the blessing.
We gotta give thanks to our Lord and Savior, Marshall Tucker. Ned Beatty's changed again. Now he looks like if Johnny Bravo let himself go and opened a titty bar. Okay, both sides have resorted to murder so far, so how is Tiny gonna escalate things even further?
I guess there ain't nobody home.
I bet you're real disappointed. Probably thought you wasn't gonna get it tonight.
Okay, I know I already made a Deliverance reference, but looks like Ned Beatty taught his boys well. Come on, guys, what are you doing? You know it's a crime around here to rape somebody you're not related to.
Joey.
Alright, well, I guess you could tell the cops. Maybe they'll fine him $50 or something. Probably better if you just kill him yourself, though. A monster truck! In addition to being one badass-looking machine, Joey's truck's got some other tricks up its sleeve.
Looks like we lost him.
It also has stealth capabilities, too. Stephen King presents Children of the Corn Whiskey. Actually, wait a second, this is more like Maximum Overdrive if it was sponsored by Firestone and had a way shittier soundtrack. Oh, and here's an idea. Try hiding someplace the truck can't fit into, dummy. Okay, never mind, that didn't work. You know, considering half the county's been murdered in the past couple days, I'm starting to think the cops might have to do something here.
Do you have any clues?
I'm not at liberty to say.
Possible suspects include Gravedigger and Monster Mutt. Actually, the lieutenant does have an idea of who's behind all this.
Want to do something about it? Listen, Mahoney, if we catch this rolling vigilante, and I take my early retirement, who's going to keep the drunks off the road?
Not you, by the looks of it.
Yeah, and if we don't do something about it, innocent people start getting hurt. What then?
Fine, I guess I'll do something about it then. Fuck! Hey, Joey, real sorry about your family. Anyway, are you killing people with a monster truck?
So if you catch this guy, you're gonna take him in?
Yeah, if I find him. I'm hoping that maybe he might just retire. Seems to me he's done enough avenging for everyone.
See, if you retire, that way I won't have to arrest you for murder or investigate your girlfriend's rape. It'll save me so much paperwork. Now that the lieutenant knows who he is, Joey also reveals to Misty that he's really the vigilante superhero, Truck Man. Oh, and his dad dies, which means Joey is gonna have to vengeance harder than he's ever vengeanced before.
I think I heard something.
Maybe it's the Ghost Riders in the sky.
Hey, I'll handle the Southern rock references around here, okay? Let's see, who does Ned Beatty look like now? Hillbilly Andrew Dice Clay? Close enough. Anyway, how is he gonna stop Joey? Oh man, I thought for sure if we locked the door that'd keep him out. Alright Joey, I understand you're getting revenge for your murdered family, but you are taking out the only bar for Miles, which means the cops are gonna have to arrest you. That is if Ned Beatty doesn't take him out first. Oh great, the lieutenant just killed the most entertaining actor in this movie. And here's a tip, Joey. Never leave the keys inside your giant armored murder machine unless you're sure all the bad guys are dead, idiot. Come on, man, I'm not going anywhere! Right about now, Joey's really wishing he found a self-destruct button during that junkyard montage. I will give Vic this, at least he tries to get some use out of that drill Joey had installed. Yeah, if Misty thought that first rape scene was brutal, just wait until she gets fucked by Tetsuo the Iron Man. But no way is Joey gonna lose his one true love, and by that I mean the truck, not Misty. Eat fumes, asshole. Alright, Vic's the only member of Tiny's family left, so Joey's gonna have to give him the most spectacular death of the movie. Huh. Okay, so along with Lawrence Dane, the other thing this has in common with the last movie I did is an underwhelming final villain kill. It's all good though, not only is Misty alive, but so is the lieutenant.
We got an ID on the fella we found in the monster truck.
Vic Doyle.
Looks like Vic didn't much like his family either.
Alright, a man commits multiple vigilante murders and I help to cover him up. Once again, justice prevails. And so, Joey had his truck converted into an RV and he and Misty spent their days traveling across the open roads of America. And by America, I mean Canada. So is Rolling Vengeance the definitive monster truck movie like it says on the box art? Well, that kinda depends on what you think the definitive monster truck movie should be like. Sure, the movie does technically have both cars and people getting crushed by a big-ass truck, but personally I wish it was a little less polite. I mean, come on, it's a movie about a guy getting revenge by killing people with a giant monster truck. This isn't exactly highbrow cinema here, but instead of going for broke, too often it feels like the movie's holding back. A good example of this is when they first show off the big drill Joey adds to the truck, only to barely use it for the rest of the movie. Hell, I think one of the villains ends up using it more than Joey does. One thing it does have going for it is that the acting is better than you'd expect for this type of movie, with Ned Beatty making for an entertaining villain, but the movie's kinda like its soundtrack. It's a little too middle of the road for its own good. I do gotta admit though, that truck's pretty awesome. Well, there's only one movie left in this Canuxsploitation-A-Thon, and I'm gonna end things by doing my first Canuxsploitation sequel. Until next time.
Don't forget big ones like Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
Well, it's the final part of my third Canuxsploitation-A-Thon, and if you remember my last one, I ended by talking about the cult classic The Gate. A rare example of a PG-13 horror movie that still manages to be fun instead of lame, The Gate is a great movie for parents wanting to introduce their kids to horror that both can enjoy. While not exactly a giant hit, The Gate became a staple of video stores and ended up getting a cult following, so it was pretty much inevitable that it would get a sequel. Remember, in the 90s we got 3 Watchers sequels, and that was with barely anyone even seeing the first one. So in 1990 we got The Gate 2, or just Gate 2. I guess there wasn't enough in the budget for a "the" this time. Equaling the first movie's gonna be a tall order, but I have faith that this is probably not gonna do that. It is a 90s horror sequel after all. I probably shouldn't be so cynical though. After all, they actually got the director of the first movie to come back. You usually don't see that with horror movie sequels. Well, unless they're made by Victor Salva. Ugh. However, Stephen Dorff wasn't available this time around, so instead our main character is Louis Tripp, coming back as his friend Terry.
There it is. Glenn's old house. I've been staring at it for 2 solid years.
Yeah, you can stop staring, Terry. Glenn's not coming back. He's too busy filming episodes of What a Dummy. And if anyone's wondering just what the hell that is...
Are you nuts? How am I gonna produce a gourmet French meal, huh?
Maybe you could steal Julia Child's personality this time.
Yeah, I could have just made the reference and moved on, but I really wanted to show a clip. Terry's planning on opening the gate again, because sure, that sounds like a great idea.
The problem wasn't that we opened the gate, that we summoned the ancient demons. The problem was that we didn't do it right.
No, I'm pretty sure opening a gateway to hell and unleashing demons was the problem. What, do you think if you do it again, the demons are going to be cool this time? Actually, that kind of is what he's hoping for. Apparently, opening the gate again is supposed to help his family.
Dad, I know this is hard for you to understand, but I have to go back tonight. I'm doing it for us. For both of us.
That's nice, son. Now do your dad a favor and crack me open another bottle of J&B before you leave, okay? Jeez, I see Glenn's family didn't bother to clean up before they moved. I guess their insurance didn't cover demon damage. Terry wants to reopen the gate so the demons can grant him a wish. Either that or he's trying to weird science himself a hot demon woman. Look, Terry, we don't mind you LARPing in abandoned buildings, but could you at least find some friends to do it with so you look like less of a weird loner? Before Terry's able to complete the ceremony, though, he's interrupted by some bullies from a Stephen King movie.
Don't break the circle. You'll contaminate it.
Oh, yeah. You better be careful, John, or he might sick Satan on you.
Satan, Pennywise, one of them's probably gonna kill you by the end. And hey, one of the bullies is played by Pamela Adlon. Oh, wait, my mistake. It's actually somebody named Pamela Segal. Never mind.
This isn't Satanism, this is something else, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a kid with too much time on his hands and no game with girls. Although, I could be wrong about that last part.
Yeah, it's demonology.
Yeah, I knew it was something like that. The circle and the symbols.
Right now, Terry's thinking, whoa, I never thought this would impress chicks. Alright, time to start the ceremony, and whoa, just what do you think you're doing with that hamster, Terry? This movie's Canadian, not Italian. Terry can't bring himself to go through with it, though. Summoning the forces of darkness is one thing, but he can't kill Mr. Nibbles.
You pussy? Alright, you demons, let's see some action.
And after the ritual animal sacrifice, we say the magic words, Deodato D'Amato Lenzi! Uh-oh, looks like the demons don't appreciate animal cruelty either. And as punishment, they're banishing you to Utah.
Look at that!
Excuse me, but is this supposed to be happening?
You're messing around with the forces of darkness, so... probably. Great, not only did they summon the raft monster from Creepshow 2, but they also brought back one of those little imp thingies from the first movie.
Holy Jesus!
Wow, you mean you can just shoot them? Man, that would have been good to know last time.
You can't just shoot them. Don't you know what you're dealing with here, you asshole?
Hey, you're the one trying to open a door to an evil demon dimension. I kind of think you're the asshole here, Terry.
You almost got us killed. It's you who's the asshole.
Yeah, see? Exactly. Not only did John ruin Terry's ceremony, but he also made him look like a total bitch in front of Liz. Oh man, I sure hope they don't tell the other kids at school I own a silk wizard's cloak. This night wasn't a total bust, though. You now have proof that interdimensional demons exist. You present this to the scientific community and you'll be famous. Or, you know, you could just keep it in a jar in your basement. Probably not the weirdest or smelliest thing down there. Even Terry's dad doesn't seem to mind all the weird shit he's into.
Would you join a gang?
Nah, just messing with demonic forces again. By the way, we're gonna need to get a new hamster. Terry hasn't been the same ever since his mom died and his dad lost his job as a pilot. Although something tells me that even if that didn't happen, he'd still be pickling monsters in his room. Even Terry's schoolwork is starting to suffer.
Terrence? Detention.
What?
I wasn't thinking about furry porn, I swear! Detention's not all bad, though. Now he gets to talk to Liz again.
I told John he was an asshole for shooting the Manion.
Minion. Say, where'd he get a gun anyway?
His father's.
Okay, so where does Dad get a gun? I mean, we are in Canada, after all. And again, considering Terry's the one who summoned the demon and John just reacted to it, I still think Terry's kinda the asshole here. John and Mo have the right idea. School's for suckers. Just get a job and start earning money. Also, do they work for the Quake Corporation?
So what'd you wish for, man? Would you wish for a bigger dick?
There's a look that says, yeah.
Wishes are bullshit. How can a guy with a hole in his heart believe in wishes?
I don't know, you saw a demon. Maybe wishes are real too. They may not believe in wishes, but demons are definitely real. This one even healed from its bullet wound. We got ourselves a mini Wolverine here. In other news, Terry's dad got a new job and cracked open a 36-pack to celebrate.
Son, you're looking at Pan Atlantic's newest baggage expediter, and I start tomorrow.
Baggage boy, huh? Alright, well, at least this means Terry's dad can't call him a loser anymore. Bad news, Terry. I think your little jar demon may have escaped. And that's not the only thing he has to worry about down here. Someone stole the remote for his RC car! Alright, we'll hint that this movie's Canadian by putting Terry in some hockey gear, but we're still gonna have an American flag in the background, okay? Even though according to IMDb this had a bigger budget than the first movie, I think that's probably inaccurate since the effects work here isn't as good as the original and we only get one minion as opposed to several of them like in the first movie. But having said that, the effects here are still pretty fun in an Evil Dead 2 kind of way, even though Terry's kinda like if Ash was played by Eddie Deason instead of Bruce Campbell. Alright Terry, now you've got living proof demons exist. Time to tell the world, or at least your father.
You're flying? Like a bird.
Yeah, after that much booze, I'll bet you are. Okay, time to contact the local university about the demon, but first, gotta take some pics for social media.
It's alive. A minion. What is he?
If demons were rock stars, he'd be the roadie.
So, you're saying she's gonna have to blow that thing if she wants to meet the Tommy Lee demon?
All that negative energy. Why mess around with something so dangerous?
I need results.
My regular acne medication isn't working and I'm hoping they can help. Okay, actually Terry's trying to open the gate again because his dad's been depressed and become an alcoholic ever since his mom died, and he's hoping he can use his wish to help turn his dad's life around. You know, Terry's mom being dead was only briefly touched on in the first movie and could have easily just been forgotten about, so it is kinda interesting that they decided to make it a major plot point here. Although I'm not sure if asking demons to help make your dad's life better is a smart idea. Maybe you should just use that monkey's paw you bought in Morocco. Or you could use your wishes for something more fun. No, really, they just wish for a new car and they instantly get it. This minion's like a mini genie. And the best part about the wishes, it really helps out Terry's game.
Let's go to Paris tomorrow. Je t'aime, mon chéri.
What's that mean?
I love you, my darling.
Right now, Terry's thinking, do I tell her about my collection of toenail clippings now or wait until later?
Are you in love with John? I mean, have you ever... you know...
Have you?
Sure, who hasn't?
Virgin! Terry's doing so well with Liz, he even manages to make John jealous. Turns out the bad boy's no match for somebody with unlimited demon wishes. Although they do come at a bit of a price. Even in your dream sequences, you still have to fly coach. Oh, and there may be other consequences.
Dad! Hey! Join the party!
Jesus Christ, did Terry's dad go to the Denzel Washington flight school? Airline pilots are supposed to be on coke, not booze. Not to worry though, it was all just a dream. Although there is some other bad news.
The car, and all the clothes and all the other stuff from last night, it all turned into shit. I mean real shit.
Tell me about it. You should see my room.
I don't think that was because of the minion. I think Terry's basement was like that before. Terry is informed that his dad was involved in a crash and is now in a coma, which means now he has to take revenge by building a badass monster truck and... Oh, wait, sorry, that was the last movie I did. Terry really should have known something bad was gonna happen from that shit-eating grin the minion has on its face. Oh well, at least he still has Liz. Maybe.
I saw you with that freak. What's his name?
Look, you don't own me. He's just a friend, okay? I never touched him. He's a friend.
Oh man, friend zoned again. Maybe I should have just wished for a real doll. Damn, it's true what they say. Chicks can't resist the bad boy / probable villain. Well, at least this means John and Mo will leave Terry alone. Or not.
You know, Terrence, I think it's time you and I became friends. We got so much in common. Same taste in girls, for example.
Because friends should be able to share everything.
Wait, so you're saying it's cool if we share her? Shit, not only did John get Liz back, but he even stole Terry's minion. Oh well, at least they're nice enough to share their weed with it. Unfortunately, because the minion's from a negative dimension, that means weed is like crack to them. Okay, again, even if the effects here aren't as good as in the first movie, I'm always a sucker for some stop motion, even if it's for a tiny crack demon.
Stop the car!
Okay, remember, man, we keep the little demon roadie hostage until he agrees to introduce us to the ultimate demon rock star, Blackie Lawless. Well, great. Now that his demon's missing, Terry can't wish his dad out of his coma or himself out of the friend zone.
Go on, you'll feel better.
How come you know so much about it?
Same thing happened to my dad.
Your dad crashed a plane because of a demon wish too?
Cancer.
Oh, okay, so not quite the same thing.
It doesn't matter what happens on the outside. Nothing can touch us where we really live. Not if someone loves you.
The way I love you, Terry, like a little brother. A completely platonic little brother. And it's that kind of totally non-sexual love that'll help get your dad through this. Now, doesn't that make you feel better?
It's okay to touch me, too.
Just remember, nothing past a handshake, okay, friendo? Meanwhile, it looks like John and Mo are enjoying their wishes. See? They wished for bow ties so they could eat at this fancy restaurant. Unfortunately, demon wishes are kinda like doing steroids. There's some unwanted side effects, like crippling back knee. And hey, wait a second, that isn't Queen Elizabeth on those bills. Your money's no good here. Ugh. Okay, now it's really no good. When I wasn't kidding about the acne, John should have wished for some Clearasil. Terry better fix things before it's too late.
The vessel will send him through the gate, straight back to hell.
Oh, wait a minute. You're gonna do the conjure thing again? Call the demons?
Sure, what's the worst that could happen? Oh, right. Okay, in order to reopen the gate, they're gonna need some magic ingredients. Hopefully this spell doesn't require some Eye of Newt. Terry's gone through enough pets already.
A sacrifice of unbroken love. What is that?
Oh, that's, something that represents love, you know, that comes from love.
Comes from love, huh? Alright, get that sock from under your bed and put that in the box. Uh-oh, looks like things aren't going so well for John. I mean, he always thought he'd die by ODing in a bathroom, but he didn't think it'd go quite like this.
Do not go in there. Woo!
John's got the right idea, though. When your money's turned to shit, just dine and dash instead of paying. So is that spell almost ready?
That's gonna save the world?
Sure, why not? I mean, look at it this way. A couple of prayers and a dead hamster got us into this mess, right?
That reminds me, we gotta stop at the pet store before we complete the spell. Before they can open the gate, Mo drops by and tells him John's gone to the warehouse where he works and they need to go find him. Mainly because that's the moodiest location they can use. Boiler rooms. Where would 80s and 90s horror movies be without you? Oh shit, it's worse than I thought. By the looks of it, John's slowly turning into the Kool-Aid Man. They better go find him quick. Found him! Looks like I was wrong. John's actually been transformed into a denizen of the Harryhausen dimension. Oh well, he's not getting any complaints from me. You know, the way this factory's lit, I keep expecting Michael Keaton's Batman to pop in and drop one of them into a vat of chemicals. But I guess Mo could just save him the trouble and drop himself.
Oh no, his heart.
This is all my fault.
You were the one who reopened the gate, so yeah, it kinda is. Great, so Mo's dead and John's a demon. Great job, Terry. Terry theorizes that the demons are trying to enter our world by possessing human bodies rather than coming through the gate, and if they complete a human sacrifice, they'll be able to conquer our dimension. But luckily, Terry has a foolproof plan of stopping him.
Oh my god!
They have to go back to the future? Just kidding. They go back to Glenn's house and try and send the demons back through the gate. They don't have a hamster to sacrifice this time, but they do still have the minion. This is for turning my car into shit, you little bastard.
Now, Why in the world would you want to do a thing like that?
Hey, Mo's alive, and he brought more effects with him. The demons kidnap Liz, revealing she's the human sacrifice needed to fully conquer the human realm. But for a bit of good news, we finally learned Terry's last name is Chandler. Like I said before, the effects here aren't as impressive or memorable as in the first movie, but there are still some cool visuals in this finale. This part almost seems like a live-action version of a segment from the movie Heavy Metal. Terry could even pass for a real version of Den before he gets transformed.
You can't do this! We didn't start this. You started it.
Again, they are kinda right here, Terry. The demons want Terry to sacrifice Liz, but Terry shouldn't be upset. He's gone from simply role-playing Dungeons & Dragons to actually living it. You know, I'm starting to think that reopening the gate to the demon dimension just to get your dad to stop drinking may have been a bad idea. Oh well, at least it leads to more Randall William Cook effects. And he knows what he's doing. He worked on the Lord of the Rings films. Speaking of which, it kinda looks like Terry's been transformed into an extra from one of them. But just like with Mr. Nibbles earlier, Terry just can't bring himself to sacrifice Liz. He might still have a chance of getting to second base with her after this. Okay, so at the end of the first movie, Glenn defeated the head demon by hitting him with a rocket. So how is Terry gonna defeat the main demon here? Dagger to the face. Okay, not as spectacular as in the first movie, but I guess this kinda earns this movie's R rating as opposed to the first one's PG-13. Alright, you little shit. Time to use this music box to close the gate. At least until they decide to make another sequel. So Terry manages to close the gate and send the demons back to their dimension, but at a terrible cost.
God.
Poor Terry. He died as he lived. Still stuck in the friend zone. There is a silver lining to all this, though. Terry's dad made it out of his coma in order to attend his funeral, so I guess Terry meddling with demonic forces had a bit of a positive effect. And after this tragedy, Terry's dad vowed never again to drink on the job before noon. But wait a second.
Didn't you hear me? I couldn't breathe in there.
Good work, Terry. Not only are you alive, but now it looks like you won't need that sock under your bed anymore. Oh, and the villains also survived, so, sequel hook? Of course, there weren't any more sequels, although Louis Tripp did come back to play Terry again in a short film called Sacrifice, which is apparently Australian and also a musical? Okay, gotta admit I'm a little curious to see what that's like. A remake of the first film directed by none other than Alex Winter was also reportedly in development, although as of 2020 it still hasn't happened yet. Now make no mistake, The Gate 2 isn't nearly as good as the first one, but as far as lesser-known horror movie sequels go, it could have been worse. While not as impressive effects-wise as the original, the stop-motion stuff is still kind of fun, and I'll also give it points for trying to be a little different instead of just a rehash of the first one. But ultimately, there is a reason the first movie's remembered as a cult classic, and this one's considered, well, just a sequel. Also, even though the first movie was rated PG-13 and this one's rated R, it feels weirdly tamer than the first one. This may be worth a watch for fans of the first one who are curious what the sequel's like, but again, the original remains one of the gold standards as far as horror flicks you can introduce your kids to. Well, there it is, the end of another Canuxsploitation-A-Thon. And now that it's over, I can get back to my regular schedule of people wondering when the next Godzilla video is. Until next time.
Demons, man. Who needs chicks when you got demons?